Once upon a time, a queen had triplets.
Three. Three?
Three.
And so there were.
Boys?
Boys. Girls.
And so they were. The queen named them April, May, and June. As the years passed, the three little princesses grew into beautiful young women. One day, the king said,
It's time for you to think of marrying.
And wedding gowns and wedding feasts and wedding balls.
Not to mention the princess.
Ah, yes, the princes. And there's her problem. There seems to be a shortage of princes this year.
A shortage of princes? How dreadful!
Most unfortunate.
I'm afraid so. There were some very fine princes, but it appears they've all been taken. One was swept up by a cleaning girl.
A cleaning girl? Impossible!
Of all the nerve!
A cleaning girl named Cinder something or other. Very nice and a hard worker, too. They said she only had rags to wear, except for a pair of glass slippers. But she took the prince anyway. Another prince found some enchanted castle. Those are rather rare these days, but you do still find one here and there. Seems everyone had been asleep for years, including the king's daughter. A real beauty. Without even knowing the girl, the prince fell in love and woke her with a kiss.
A kiss! A kiss?
the princesses gasped.
My word!
Exclaimed,
You know, magic spells. If you can't think of anything else to break them, a kiss will usually do the trick. Anyway, that prince was married before everyone could finish yawning. Another prince fell helplessly in love with a dead girl.
the princesses were horrified.
With a dead girl? How frightful!
Good heavens!
She wasn't really dead. Another magic spell, you see. Her stepmother was a real meanie. She couldn't stand the poor girl and put a curse on her. Everyone thought she was dead. She was so beautiful they kept her in a glass coffin. Good thing, too. The prince wandered by and fell in love. A kiss did the trick again. One more prince taken. Lovely for them, but as you can see, it creates a problem for us.
It's a problem, all right. And what a problem it is.
Most perplexing.
Princess April stood up.
I will go and find a prince myself.
Everyone was shocked.
Find a prince yourself.
Unheard of!
Quite improper.
I'm sure I can. If a cleaner can do it, how hard can it be?
Well,
The king considered the plan.
I've heard there are some princes in the northern countries. I suppose you could live there.
I will leave at once.
And so she did.
Well, May, what of you? Will you search for your prince as well?
I hope you and Mother won't mind terribly, but I'd rather not find a prince at all.
Not at all.
Unthinkable! Have you lost your mind?
Not at all. I've never much liked being a princess. I prefer to be an ordinary sort of person who worked in the gardens.
Well, I suppose two princesses are good enough for any castle.
Indeed.
Of course.
And there's a nice young man who works in the garden. I believe he would marry me if he said he could.
And so they did.
And what of you, June?
Well, I think I'll put an ad in the paper.
This was the strangest idea yet.
An ad in the paper? I'm quite happy being a princess, but I don't want the hassle of searching for a prince. Therefore, I shall put an ad in the Castle Times. The ad will read, Wanted, a prince to marry, preferably handsome and rich, must be wise and kind. Apply in person to Princess June.
Well,
The king considered this plan.
I guess it's worth a try.
I'm sure it's not wise.
Sooner or later, a nice prince will answer my ad. Until then, I'm quite content to wait.
Very well. Write your ad.
And so she did. It was not long before Princess April returned to the castle with a charming prince. May and June came out to greet their sister.
Nice to meet you.
Now then, April, do tell us how you found this fellow.
Yes, Father. It's all in my adventure journal. It wasn't easy, Father. I traveled north until I spend the night and we'll sleep in the morning, the queen said. The room was nice enough, but, the bed. I have to have a ladder to climb up into it. And was it ever lumpy? I could not sleep a bit. I figured since they wouldn't even talk about marriage, I might as well just move on. So I did. Of course, it was terribly dark out. And I ran right to the side of another castle, and when I rang the doorbell, a horrid beast came out.
A beast? A horrid beast?
Everyone was shocked by this news.
Shocking! Extraordinary.
It was dreadful. You could be sure I didn't stick around there to find a prince. As quickly as I could, I ran right to a smelly pond. A poor frog tried to talk to me, or he at least tried to talk to me. But he had a raspy voice, and it was really hard to understand, and I didn't have time to stick around there.
I suppose that would have been a good time to try a kiss.
Yes, indeed.
Quite so.
A kiss? I never got to kiss a frog.
Not to worry, my dear. You have a prince now. Do tell us how you got him.
Oh, yes. In the morning, I wandered farther north, and the snow was getting very deep. I almost decided to go back home and let my prince find me. Then I saw him. He was so tall, so handsome, and so marvelous that I didn't even know he was made of ice.
Of ice? It was made of ice?
Remarkable! Chilling!
Princess April agreed, and her prince nodded and shivered.
Yeah, that's what happened. He was enchanted, of course, by a wicked stepmother. You know how it is.
And you thought him out?
A kiss did the trick, just as you said. And after he stopped dripping, we hurried off here to be married, and that's it.
Everything is almost ready for the wedding. While you were away, we worked day and night to prepare the wedding, feast, and ball.
Feast?
Yes, May has arranged to marry a man in the gardens.
Gardens? May is marrying a gardener?
Princess April was surprised. Her sister had made her match, just as she had hoped.
It's
true.
And why not?
Of course, he's not just a gardener. He's a prince, too. Wicked stepfather, curses, and all that. We can have a triple wedding as soon as we find a suitable prince to answer June's ad.
Ad? June has placed an ad for a prince?
The servants were most upset.
Most upsetting. Quite distressing.
We've already been through this.
Just then, there was a knock on the castle door. The servants shouted,
A prince!
Open the door!
Princess June went to the door. She saw no one. Just as she turned to go back inside, she heard a very small laugh.
Hello?
The princess looked all around her, but saw no one.
Ha! Tricked you, didn't I?
A very small man popped out from behind the door.
Oh. Tom Thumb at your service. I'm here about the ad. May I speak to Princess June, please? Well, I am Princess June, but you're not quite what I was hoping for. You're much too small and, well, I'm sorry, you just won't do. Oh well, I guess it was worth a try. I'll be off. Good day.
Tom Thumb gave a bow and left.
That was a strange, odd little man. Only as big as your thumb. I doubt he was really a prince. Oh, there's the door again. Perhaps this will be my prince.
A taller one, I hope.
Tall and handsome prince.
Please! Princess June went to the... The man walked in. He was indeed tall and handsome, but he was not a prince. I understand you're looking for a new gardener.
Actually, I'm looking for a new prince to marry me.
He admired her beauty. He made up in his mind that he'd be delighted to marry her.
I would be delighted to marry you, though I am not a prince. I would be if I married a princess. Marry me, and you shall have your prince.
The king, queen, servants, and other princesses said,
Take him!
and so she did. The castle was full of flowers and wedding guests. The three princesses were full of happiness. The king and queen were full of pride. The servants were full of relief. It was a marvelous wedding. The feast was delicious. No one went hungry in all the land that day. The dance could not have been better, even though someone dropped a glass slipper. It was a glorious day. Everyone was certain that the three princesses and their princes would live happily ever after. And so they did.